Like closed down your spot establishment on Saturday night. They get moved. All
right. At 8:02, 8:03, call the Board of Inspectors meeting to order. And at this time, if there are any public comments for items that are not appearing on the agenda, now would be a good time for us to entertain those matters. Going once, going twice, hearing none, we'll move on ahead to approval of the minutes from the July 11th meeting. If there are any additions or corrections, so speak now. If not, do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the July 11th meeting? Motion. I will second it. You're here though. You're warm. Is there a motion to approve, or is there I guess, all in favor of approving those minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we're good. Okay, we move ahead. We'll turn it over to the warden for his reports on all things corrections.
Good morning. We'll be pretty brief this morning. The first one to highlight, there was a webinar held about 2 weeks ago with the Department of Justice for Correctional Facilities. Deputy Menarchik attended in my absence. It involved the medication assisted treatment program. While the Department of Justice hasn't given hard, fast deadlines for implementation of programs yet in county jails, it's coming. We are thankfully way ahead of the curve based on what Deputy Menarchik listened to and observed in the meeting. Center County is right on par with the DOJ initiatives and guidelines. And they change frequently. So we try to stay up with them, and we pivot as needed during the course of their releases. So just thought you'd like to know that we are currently in compliance with all their directives and initiatives on MAT, although it's not mandatory at this point, but it will be coming soon. So the RFQ, we exchanged some phone conversations with Brian from Trans Systems this week, and we are waiting on him to get us back the information that we had requested after Mr. Frank and I met with him. So that's all I have for the warden's report, sir.
You were told it was going to be 15 or 20 hours.
Yeah.
Well, that part's coming.
To Glenn's point, with just the county commissioners convention over at Gettysburg up until yesterday around lunchtime. And at that point, Dr. Laurel Perry, the secretary for the Department of Corrections for Pennsylvania, was speaking on the MAT program. And many, possibly even most, county correctional facilities don't even have a program in place yet. So
Yeah, there's a lot that don't.
tons of questions.
Yeah, we frequently get emails. Hey, can you share your policy with us? And
Yeah.
how do you do this? How do you do that?
Yeah.
Danielle, did they provide any indication about how it was going to be funded? For some counties that don't have grants, that's maybe
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
they did not.
Because we currently have one existing grant for over 500,000 for MAT, and then I just applied for another specifically for Vivitrol that'll start October 1st. And those are both from BCCD.
There was discussion of the opioid settlement funds to possibly use.
Yeah.
Well, even so, I mean, you're talking about a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ken Smelter, I've been kind of AWOL for the last few months. Warden, could you give a summary about what the state of the RFQ thing is? And what happened?
Only one proposal was submitted. We went through that proposal. And then Mr. Franek and I met with the representative from Trans Systems. We had some questions that we had from the county side. We presented them to Trans Systems. Brian, the lead of the project from Trans Systems, he was out for about a week and a half in July, so it slowed down their process a little bit. So I spoke to him on the phone Tuesday and he said he's about finalized with the information we requested, so he'll be getting that back to us to review. And Mr. Franic's on vacation this week, so if I happen to get it by today or tomorrow, I'll get it to Mr. Franic next week, then him and I will schedule another meeting to go through it, so.
So it's still live and
Mhm.
they're bid, how much higher than you expected to sell it?
I don't know if I can officially quote on a bid or not, so I'll let that come out of the commissioner's level.
I'm not even sure, but we're allowed.
Yeah. So, because nothing's been awarded or proposed to be awarded yet, so. So anything that happens now will be at the commissioner's level, because the prison board can't approve the funding of that, of any study or any construction or anything. They can recommend, but then that goes to the county level. All funding has to be approved by the county, not the prison.
Surprised that only one proposal?
Yes and no. I think that the scope of the project is that some companies, that aren't local, didn't want to put the time or resources into it. For, not that it could be a small project or a large project, but it might not meet some of those companies' criteria for, we're only going to look at projects that are going to cost X amount of dollars, you know what I mean? We had a couple inquiries, from a company, Shrewsbury Architects, I believe it is, or Dewsbury Architects down around Harrisburg. They had called and asked, for the information. We'd sent it to them, but we never got anything back, so.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, work in progress. All right,
Facility report.
okay, our July average daily population was 167. Broke that down, Center County sentenced was 36, which was 22% of our average daily population. Center County unsentenced was 70 for 42%. Tennant County sentenced was 31 for 19% of our population, and Tennant County unsentenced was averaged 30 per day, or 17%. Work release and community reentry. We had 5 individuals on private employment, 4 at Centerpiece, 5 on facility grounds. Total on outside clearance was 13. You notice the top number equals 14, as we've reported before. If somebody started out on facility grounds, we give them credit for that, and if they might have moved to a private job, they get credit for that. So that's how we track that.
The Fox Centerpiece have had more. I was down there the other day and saw a whole slew of guys.
Well, you may have seen it.
Felt like there was one.
Yeah, and I think there's 2 or 3 in the pipeline for you, I think, that she's working on. So I know I just signed 2
Seemed like more than 4 was there, but I
Tuesday.
They were just busy moving around. They were following you.
Total from the Center County, sentence population was 10, and we had 3 from Schuylkill County. Those sentenced inmates that are not eligible for outside clearance, we occasionally report these numbers. So, we tracked 32 of them. 7 had detainers. 7 were not medically cleared or presented with mental health issues. 1 had open charges. 3 people have declined to accept outside clearance. 5 were facility behavioral concerns. Not eligible due to current charges was 2, and previously removed from work release violations was 3, and currently in processing is 4.
What does open charges mean? Does that mean they haven't been arraigned yet?
Well, they may be sentenced on one set of charges, but they have additional charges that haven't been through the court system yet. So we don't consider them safe to be outside at this point till those charges are resolved.
Are unsentenced able to do work release in the prison inside?
We don't have work release inside. They can do trustees' jobs inside the prison or work in the kitchen or the laundry or hallways, yes.
People have to be on block C.
No, each housing unit has workers that live on that housing unit. Kitchen workers all live down in C block. Our laundry workers live down in C block. So,
I think the question is if somebody's like on outside work release at the private sector.
yes,
then there's work.
yeah.
No, I visited with somebody living in San Jose, tried, trying to working with for inside or?
That, I know who you're talking about. She can request to be a trustee on her housing unit.
Okay.
She's been told that, but she chooses not to hear what I say, so.
Yeah,
Which doesn't bode well after she gets sentenced for her to go outside when she's not listening now. You see what I mean?
okay. Could be probably become-
But housing choices are limited for females, so. July Health Services report. Nurse sick calls for the month were 122. Doctor/physician's assistant sick calls for the month were 216. Outside medical consultations were 12. And for the month of July, we had 26 participants on the medication assisted treatment program.
Yeah, is that a large increase? I don't remember it being quite that many.
Medication assisted treatment, yeah, it flows up and down with releases and new intakes. Because now we also do if you come to the institution, and you were already on MAT outside, as long as medical can verify that, they roll right into the program. So that number, it could fluctuate greatly every month.
And that lastly is presenting a lot of issues for the counties that don't have the medication assisted treatment to a point where they're actually sending those citizens to other counties.
Yes.
That have both.
Mhm.
How do they inmates that experience WT, do they like it?
I don't know if. I'm gonna ask Cassie to,
I feel like our population is very excited about MAT, you know, they're coming in now, we're not having to detox them, and it's helping them be stable throughout their incarceration, it's helping them whenever they get out, so. I feel like all of our participants are very thankful that we have the program we're inducting, that's a big thing, they're thankful for, so. I'd say it's helping us all out.
yeah. For July, rolling into our detox. In July, we had 21 new admissions that were detoxing, 15 from Center, 6 from tenant counties. Meth continues to be the top numbers, with 11 for the month. Alcohol was 7, opiates 5, benzos 3, Suboxone 1. Individuals presenting that had multiple drugs in their system was 6. And the tranq has finally hit Center County. We had 2 this month that had a fentanyl/tranq mix in their system, so. I guess those 2 are lucky that they ended up here and not on carry statistics, because that's pretty dangerous stuff. Mental health stability ratings for the month, a total of 247 rated. Again, everybody that comes in gets run through mental health, so that number is always higher than our average daily population. We had 47 at category A, which was represented 19%. Mental health stability rating B was 33 or 13.4%. Stability rating C was 129 or 52.2%. And stability rating D, which is the most severe, was 15.4%. Yes,
sir.
Yes, sir.
Real quick, that thing, that, what region, both for California, they call it?
I would have to work with medical to, we don't really track. I don't track that, but I can, if we start seeing tranq, I can ask who it was.
Would it be helpful, I know the folks up here at Applegate, testing, testing protocol kits for xylazine and fentanyl, right, Carrie?
It's to actually test the substance.
Right.
Yes.
What I'm thinking of is when folks leave the facility and they may still be in some state of use, whether or not it would be helpful for you to send that out with them in case.
With the naloxone,
Give
we
it
do.
some thought.
Okay.
But they have xylazine and fentanyl test kits.
Okay. Yeah, we can talk about that and then we'll,
I'll ask Carrie, she's.
yep. No, that's okay.
I was curious if you could from one area and not.
Yeah. If we start seeing more of the tranq, I can ask them to tell me specifically who it was, and then I can look at their, where they came in from. I can do that.
The
That's-
sheriff, the one death that we had that did have xylazine was in Taylor Township. Oh,
Fort Matilda up that way, part of the upper Baltic Valley. Yep. That's all I had for facility reports, sir.
Your old business.
The facility doesn't have any old business to present.
And Shane, you have some, policy reviews and changes for us.
Yes, sir. As required by Title 37, we are required to review all policies every year. And throughout the course of the year, we make corrections or changes to policies as we need to, and then we have to have them approved by the board. So the facility is proposing and requesting approval for the following policy changes. Policy 103, inmate accounts. The price of haircuts increased to $16 and beard trimming increased to $8. This number is set by the private individual who comes in and performs haircuts for us. So this is, the facility doesn't make anything off of this. Under the policy 110 for training, we added the word approved under the on-the-job training aspect for the Department of Corrections Basic Training Academy, which we operate here. That was at the suggestion of the Title 37 inspection team. Reporting off work, policy 114, we changed the language from Kronos to scheduling system since the county just changed to a different system. So that leaves it at generic. If we change scheduling systems again, we don't gotta change our policy. Policy 205, library services, we changed to is responsible for the book rotation. Now reads the director of treatment will establish a scheduled rotation for all books, and that participant from the Compass program will be assigned to deliver the books to the various housing units. Policy 208, classification, we removed some redundant language on the reclassification process. And we added specific language that states inmates may be considered for outside clearance and pre-release programs during the reclassification process. Policy 209, furloughs, we added language to the process. The counselors will now complete a pre-release status approval form, and we removed language that the Center County Probation handles paperwork for emergency furloughs. We do all the paperwork and then process it down to the courts if the inmate requests it. So. Community reentry and education, this policy has been eliminated and combined with policy 216 because there was a lot of redundant language in both of them. Policy 212, religion, religious accommodation review committee, which we established a few years ago. We changed from the deputy warden of operations to deputy of administration as to who chairs that committee. Policy 213, treatment services, we clarified language as to who will direct and authorize programs for posting. This will be the deputy warden of administration. We also clarified language on keep separates, participating in programs, keep separates attendance will be alternated. And what that means, if we have two individuals who want to attend the same program, but they can't be in the same room together, this week you go, next week you go, and the counselors track that. So both participants get to participate in the program, but they're not in there at the same time. Orientation policy number 214, we added language that the counselor will show the inmate orientation video at the time of initial classification. This was something that was changed since we now have this video on the tablet. And during the initial processing, the counselors just have the individuals watch it right there with them. Policy 215, volunteer service providers, added language, the deputy warden of administration will sign all volunteer service applications during the approval process. And we added language, the deputy warden of administration will assign staff to coordinate attendance lists for the programs and change language from verification forms to program rosters. Policy 216, the work release, again, it was combined from policy 211, removed all redundant language, and we clarified language to describe definitions of inside versus outside trustees, and we removed CADA information as needed. Policy 217, medical services, added language that medical staff would notify the correctional staff and make documentation in the offender management system of bottom bunk status per medical. We also added language that an inmate would not be assigned to the bottom bunk unless medically necessary. We had to do that because we have a lot of individuals who are medically required to have bottom bunk status. And other people who don't need it, just choose to live there, well, we gotta take care of the medical portion of it first, so that's why that was in there. We added language that any removal body piercings or jewelry will be removed by medical staff, if possible, some can't be. Medication assisted treatment program, we updated the language, the goals of the program, which will now read. The goal of the Center County Correctional Facility is to develop a program that provides as many necessary tools as possible to assist an individual to achieve their goal of living a life free of substance abuse. We remove language that indicates Sublocade and Vivitrol will be the formulary drug for the MAT program. And we updated language to include tenant counties in the program. We updated the language, not that we got rid of Vivitrol and Sublocade. This was out of the DOJ. Again, you couldn't specifically state what your formulary was because that indicates your limiting options, so. We added language stating that the contracted medical provider will be the prescriptive authority for medications, the MAT program. Prime Care has a doctor specifically assigned, for the MAT program. We updated security procedures for searches before and after the dosing occurs. And we updated language for the issuing of naloxone, to reflect our current procedures of providing that upon release.
Before we, that has, that stuff from the DOJ involved. You make sure Carrie is aware of that, so.
Yeah.
you don't have to make any
Yep.
adjustments.
Yes, sir. Policy 301, disciplinary procedures. We added captain, the new captain position to the disciplinary hearing committee. Policy 302, unclosed search. This is a security policy, so I won't go into a lot of specifics, but we added language on the operation of the newly purchased drug loo, so. It is a contraband collection device.
That's not very helpful.
No.
Well, yeah. Policy 303, emergency response. Again, we added a captain position to the chain of command. Policy 304, corrections emergency response team. We added captain position to the chain of command, and we deleted the portion of written testing to become a team member. Policy 306, audio and video. We added the specific location to where body cameras must be worn. Policy 307, use of force, added captain to the administrative review and assessment committee. Policy 309, tool control. We changed supervision of outside contractors from facility management staff to facility staff. That way any staff can supervise outside contractors. Policy 311, security risk inmates. We changed wording from security ink pen to security pencil. Security, we changed the wording and the serving of food items from styrofoam containers to napkins. Policy 314, escapes. We added specific language and information that the supervisors are to provide 911 during any escape. That way they can relay specific information out to the various local police agencies.
Well, I would just say also, if you have an event of that nature. I think, I could imagine that John, Veronica, whoever the administrator is, that would probably be the public information.
Yes. Yep.
Space.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just reporting the initial escape. There's a list of things we want them to tell 911 and then you're correct. Any public comment then comes from Mr. Franek. We'll be too busy doing other stuff. Key control. We changed the title from lieutenant to captain. Policy 316, cell searches. We added language directing that RHU cells will now be searched daily. Policy 318, taser. We recently received new tasers this year, so we changed the type of equipment / battery to match the new taser equipment. Added language to dock the taser PPM, which is just the base of the taser, and have the download information automatically. Policy 401, commitment. We again added direction on any body piercings that can be removed will be done so by medical staff only. Policy 410, computer in processing of inmates. This policy was merged into 401 policy. Policy 415, suicide prevention. We changed language to how meals are served, i.e. no styrofoam containers, and they will receive finger foods. Personal hygiene and inmate grooming, we added language that indigent inmates may request nail clippers at the medication line, and the medical staff will inventory and track any that are issued by medical. And that concludes my proposed policy changes, sir. I request approval of those.
Jason, you're online. Can you hear us still?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Are there any questions? I don't know if you have access to the written policies. I don't know if you have any questions in regard to any of those.
No, I don't have any questions. I have access to them though.
Okay.
Thank you.
Questions from the board, right? Any concerns or any discussion required in that regard?
Thanks to the people who went through this.
Yeah, that's tedious.
It can be.
We'll go now, so.
Okay.
What happened with styrofoam?
Inmates were using it to cover cameras. Some people were ingesting it. So we done some research and decided to make this across the board that we'll do the napkin finger food and.
And for all RHU,
No, just for those on security risk or on suicide, one of the suicide precaution levels. No, not for all our RHU inmates.
Any other questions? Yes.
I have two questions. One, how much of an increase is that for haircuts? And, have you considered having a volunteer come in and do that?
Well, I think they were 12 and 6 before. I think that's what they were. She hadn't increased it in quite a while. The last time they put out a request to try to get somebody come in to help with that, she was the only person expressed interest.
Okay, so you wouldn't be adverse to having a volunteer come in and do the haircut?
Well, we currently have a contract with her that says she does the haircuts. So when her contract's up, at that point, we can explore again for
It seems to me that
proposals.
$15 out of somebody's account who doesn't have a job is a lot. That's my observation.
We can only go by what was proposed and we have no control over that.
Okay, my second question has to do with whether osteoporosis is a medically necessary issue for a lower bunk.
You want me to answer?
Yes, please.
This depends on their symptoms. The provider is usually the ones that assign those. We have a list of criteria. Anybody over 55 has to be on low bunk. But it just depends on their symptomology, their treatment, and the provider sees them within 7 days of incarceration and will make that determination.
What kind of rehabilitation is also considered? Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions or discussion required before we take action on these policies? If not, we have a motion to approve the policies as stated by the board.
Motion to approve the policies.
Properly moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Right. Carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we move ahead to all our favorite part of the meeting, which is Harry's
Thank you. So in preparation for International Overdose Awareness Day, which is August 31st, the annual candlelight remembrance ceremony in Southern County will be held August 28th at 6:30 p.m. We will be in Talleyrand Park this year instead of in front of the courthouse, just because of the construction / road closure issues. So we're gonna be at Talleyrand. They had the law enforcement memorial ceremony there and it worked out very nicely. So we reached out and we're gonna have it there at the gazebo.
I was gonna say there's like probably 2 here down there because of the road traffic, but in space. Everyone liked the space, but we couldn't hear anything, so we hope the train doesn't allow you to do it.
Yes. I'm not aware of the train schedule in the evening, but I'm hoping.
We apparently warned that they came right that they were going to Bag Pipe.
Yeah.
The road noise is always a complication up at the courthouse as well. Inevitably, someone will drive through a very loud vehicle, but yeah, we're gonna have a sound system, so hopefully you'll be able to hear and
What is this again?
our annual candlelight remembrance ceremony to remember loved ones lost to drug overdose deaths. We've been holding it for many years.
It's very neat.
We have, invite families to come up and speak about their loved ones, and that's normally the night that the courthouse begins illumination and purple lighting and to start. So we start that, and then in September is National Recovery Month, where we celebrate those in recovery. That's all I have.
Look, I think that day, 6:30.
6:30.
Barb, centerpiece.
All
I
right.
see you have a guest.
This is Nate, he's my intern, he's been with me since May, he graduates from Penn State this Saturday.
Congratulations.
A degree in rehabilitation and human services and a minor in addiction and recovery.
It's awesome.
So we have really appreciated having him with us, and he's appreciated the opportunity to be there.
I'm sure there's some county job openings for your qualifications. Just saying.
I've actually hired him to stay on short term while he tries to figure out what's going on, just so, because he's from that area, but he likes it here, so I'm sure he would be open to talking to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we have the Great Grange Fair, which starts next week, so
Yeah.
it's better than the Allentown
That's
Fair.
right. I live in Berks County, I'm agree. So, but, we've enjoyed having him with us, and it's been good for him because he's been able to have one-on-one conversations with individuals from CCCF, and I think he's gotten perspective that he wouldn't have gotten in a lot of other places, and it's really kind of shaped how he's looking towards the future.
Good.
Also, things are going well with AA. A lot of the individuals that we've been having come over are DUI, and we've been allowing them to take their lunchtime and go attend the AA meetings. And they enjoy that, because they feel like that's helping them get a dump, and, so I think that's a win-win, for everybody. We are having our annual tent sale back to school next week, so if anybody needs anything, send them away. So we are happy to hear there's people in the pipeline. And we are having, our anniversary celebration October 27th. And that'll be a family fun day that'll be just for the community, including, it's on a Sunday, a trunk or treat for kids, and we invite former trainees that came from here. And then we also will have an area of remembrance, because we are aware of, in my 5 years at Centerpiece, of 3 individuals that we work with together that are no longer with us. They lost to addiction. And then the last thing I have is a question for you. I promised you I wouldn't believe everything I hear about you if you wouldn't believe everything you hear about me. So I have a question regarding when individuals are coming out on work release and work reentry regarding clocks. Someone 2 months ago told us that they are required to purchase a clock and that they are rather expensive. If that's the case, is there a way that clocks could be purchased for a loan?
I don't think we don't require them to purchase a clock.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's what I said.
Yeah, no, we have that available just to work release inmates if they choose to purchase one,
Okay.
but we don't make that a
Again,
requirement.
that's why
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because this particular individual told me they were required and they were very costly, and I was like,
Yeah.
seems like maybe we could find a workaround. So that's why I'm asking you.
Yeah, no, it's not a requirement.
All right, thank you, and that's all.
Prison Society.
I hope that all of you had an opportunity to see the report I sent out. The Center County chapter of the Pennsylvania Prison Society has made a significant investment in the Parenting Inside Out program here at the facility. We raised over $10,000 in order to conduct it, and we've just about spent all of that at this point. We've served 69 men and women and 132 children over the past 6 years. It's our intention to offer the program 2 times per year, as long as there is interest here. And I've made a commitment for 5 years, but if someone else steps up to run the classes, I'll be happy to turn them over. The program involves skill development and role playing that emphasizes communication skills, problem solving, understanding child development, and parenting skills. Through the study of the program, it's been found to reduce recidivism, improve post-release criminal behavior, reduce substance abuse, and improve family relationships. I included a summary of the report of session 10. Each group of students I've had contact with has been unique and has required a number of special accommodations. With the ability to do that, I continue to receive positive evaluations. Thanks to the staff, excuse me, the staff for their help in managing this.
All right, I don't believe there are any executive sessions.
Yes, sir. I would request a quick executive session for 2 personnel matters.
Okay, so the future executive session, we have another report.
Yeah, none to report, but we're requesting to have one.
Executive session.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any other announcements or items of concern from good of the order? How about the audience? Any
I wondered, I was not here at the beginning of the public comment, but we had a little bit of a discussion about how the outdoor area was initially used when the building opened. And I did talk with a person who was an officer at the old jail and one who then moved here. And she reported to me that no matter what, even though they had a very small area to be outside, they followed the DOC guidelines for them to be outside at the old jail. And then when she came here, the only recreation was in the rec area.
All right, thank you. If there's nothing else, move, I guess I'll ask for a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make the motion to move in the executive session, 8:40.
Okay, move to second, any other discussion? Not, all in favor?
Aye.
Our next meeting will be September 17th at 8 AM, same place, so. Thanks for coming out.
There.